We have English names of Japanese Pokemon, uh, English names of those Pokemon that I previously said Japanese, two new Pokemon, and a brand new Z move. Pokemon! 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 Hello everyone, I'm Dustin Benzel, and welcome to another Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon discussion. Sorry for the delay in this particular video. I wanted to record earlier, but a lot of things were happening, and I just couldn't get to it. But I'm doing it right now at night, and I turned my computer off for like an hour, turned it back on, so hopefully it's not fan blowing all over the place, and it's not too hot that I need something blowing in my face. So hopefully that'll fix a lot of the issues that I've had during this summer. I'm sure winter will be a lot easier to record things in. So anyway, this is going to be quick. We're going to like kind of do rapid fire of the stuff that we already know, and we'll talk a little bit in depth in the Pokemon that I'm discussing for the first time in my particular videos. And then, of course, we'll talk about the Z move, and that will, of course, be it. So anyway, of course, we have the Japanese name for the pre-evolution of Beware, and we have Stuffle, which, of course, as I said, is the pre-evolution of Beware. It also has a cute tag on its behind, pretty interesting, kind of looks like a plushie. That's kind of cool, or a teddy bear-like object. And the interesting thing about it is that it doesn't like to be held, unlike its evolution, who wants to hold you or hug you and kill you in the process. Yeah, that one. So then, of course, we go into the Sand Heat Pokemon, which is the pre-evolution to the Sandcastle Pokemon, and we have Sandy Gas. Oh, I know I put the English names in my previous video because the English names came out, but of course I want to go and talk about it in one of my videos, and I didn't want to add to that video that I already made because it was like 40 minutes, I believe, or something of something similar. So yeah, that's why I'm talking about these. So Sandy Gas is which absorbs the life of energy of Pokemon and humans. It and its evolution possesses the ability Water Compaction, which raises defense by 2 if it is hit with a water type. And then, of course, we have Palisand, which is like a corruption of like palace, and I guess you could read it as pile of sand. So Palisand, the evolved form, and the true Sandcastle Pokemon, because Sandygast was just a sand heap. It uses its spinning shovel as a radar. That's what it actually said, but in my notes I said it uses its spinning shovel on its head as a shovel. Good note taking. Good thing there's no test. It spins its shovel around as a shovel. Now, anyway, so of course it's a radar. It uses that as radar. At least that's what Pokemon.com says. And it also traps Pokemon and humans to potentially make even more Sandy Gas, which is an interesting. I don't know if the anime would get that dark, but wouldn't it be interesting if there was an episode of the anime where Palisand just takes life energy of all these Pokemon or whatever, and then all of a sudden a Sandy Gas just appears in the sand. Don't know where that shovel thing would have appeared, but I guess it's up for the writer to decide. So, of course, let's move on to new Pokemon. We have Turtonator, the Fire Dragon Blast Turtle Pokemon with Shell Armor, which I believe reduces critical hits, or prevents critical hits anyway. It possesses a new move called Shell Trap, which lays down a trap that when hit with a physical move, an explosion occurs, dealing damage to the opponent. And I think it said more damage, and I'm assuming that means like if you do like 50 damage, it might do like 70 or 80 damage in return. I don't know if there is any sort of immunity or resistant to this explosion. I don't know what happens when two Turtonators attack each other. And this shell trap ability is actually very similar to the Pokemon in itself, because it hides underground with its shell sticking out, and when a Pokemon touches that shell, it uses its tail to smack the back of its shell to cause a detonation and explode. So that's interesting. I really like Turtonator. It's a cool looking Pokemon. I will enjoy it. In fact, I'm actually impressed that we have a lot of really good fire types. There isn't really any fire types that I dislike. I mean, I don't think I'm ever going to use Oricorio's fire flying form style at any particular moment outside of just to have it in the PC, but even that is pretty interesting in of itself. But yeah, we have Salandit, we have Litten, and all sorts of things. So that's a very interesting generation that we have all these cool fire types in. So of course, let's run into the last new Pokemon, which is called Crabrawler, which is interesting. And it's the boxing Pokemon with Iron Fist, which increases punching moves, and Hyper Cutter, which prevents attack being lowered. It is based off of a coconut crab, which is a land-based crustacean, which is why Crabrawler is a pure fighting type. Crabrawler like to fight and reach the top of whatever, like buildings, or they stick to tall people. And I'm assuming, this is my speculation, it didn't say it on Pokemon.com, but maybe really big Pokemon as well. I guess it just depends on whether or not that's something that it does. Um, it likes Crabrawler likes berries, and when it can lose its pincers in a fight, and they are said to be delicious. I'm not sure if its pincers can grow back, which would be cool. It'd be like a unlimited amount of pincers that you can eat, which would be interesting. I also like Crabrawler as well. It's a pretty interesting Pokemon and pretty interesting design. I kind of like the concept of it that it has, but I am a little disappointed that it is based on a pure fighting type. But I guess that's just, there has to be pure typings. I just like dual typings because you have two typings that you can work with. You can have moves of that typing or whatever, and while other Pokemon can learn these alternative typing moves, it would be interesting if they had a specific typing that would allow them access to those particular moves a little bit more. Granted, there are some Pokemon that are of a particular type that get no move sets decent towards its typing, which is a shame. I guess that might be because there's a lack of moves for certain types out there. So anyway, that's pretty much all there is about the new Pokemon. Speaking of which, this is just a little side note. There's a fan fiction game or whatever that I think that brought this up or whatever, and it would be interesting if there was a ghost fighting type. That would be a really cool typing to see. Maybe there will be one in Sun and Moon. I don't know if there will be, but it'll be interesting because a ghost fighting would definitely be a pretty interesting typing. So, of course, let's move on to the Z move, and we'll end this particular video. So, based on what we learned about the Z move, which has a German name, I don't think it has an English name yet, it actually confirms something that was a little questionable that I asked in my questions before. And we saw Pikachu using this normal type Z move, which confirms that as long as the Pokemon has a move of that type, it can use the Z move. So, for example, Greninja with extra sensory would probably most likely be able to use the Psychic Z move, whichever one that is. So that is interesting, and I'm glad that was confirmed for us so that it doesn't necessarily have to be the same typing as the Pokemon. So we can get some variety of Z moves as long as the Pokemon can learn a move of that typing. There are still other questions that need to be answered, and these are just repeats of what I've already said, but How many Z moves are there? Are there physical and special Z moves, or does it depend on the move that's selected? Do you select that move you want to upgrade in the Z move? So, like, if you have multiple options, you click the Z move and that particular move, and that's what determines the stats, the physical specialness of it. So, like, tackle, and would the Z move's base power change depending on the move, such as would tackle and giga impact, would they deal drastically different damage if a Z move is chosen, or do they share the same BP no matter what? So tackle, or the lowest normal physical attack, will have a Z move that will deal the same amount of damage as a Giga Impact would. Those are questions that still need to be answered. So that's pretty much all I want to say about in regards to this particular video. Unless something else pops up, I know there was a Pukikumo video that came out in regards to putting it in the water, but that's not really nothing I really want to discuss. I mean, there you go. I talked about it as far as the extent of my interest in talking about that. Although, if there are ways that you can earn money in the game outside of battling other trainers, that'd be nice. It would be interesting if there was a steadily income and you didn't have to, it didn't have to be conditional. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So, unless, like I said, unless something is revealed relatively soon, I'm assuming that the next Sun and Moon video will be September Koro. Well, actually, it'll be the November one. It'll be it'll be, well, October. I mean, the October edition, which will be introduced on September 15th or whatever. So we have like a good 2 weeks or so, 3 weeks. We have like the 1st of September is this Thursday, and then of course we have the whole next week with nothing, and then it'll be the very next week that will of course be the Koro Koro news, and of course that one should be interesting because we will learn about Rockruff's evolution, and we'll see if whether or not that particular evolution might be applicable to the starter evolutions, which is something I really want to know if it's something that could be related to the starters. And I'm really hoping that Rockruff's evolution doesn't depend on the starter that you chose, because that would be very disappointing if that's what they have in common. So anyway, that's all I want to discuss in this particular short video. So thank you for watching. I'm Dustin Benzel, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.